Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Rising Lotus Kitchen. I'm Christina and happy to be back with you. So today we are talking about the mighty Brussels sprout, this forlorn, poor, forgotten vegetable, cruciferous that people shudder at the thought of the fragrance and odor of Brussels sprouts in their kitchen, but actually they're very friendly. So today we're going to make balsamic vinegar roasted Brussels sprouts. It's super easy, but it's my favorite way of enjoying Brussels sprouts, and it doesn't make the house smell stinky. So very easy. The recipe is basically wash your Brussels sprouts, and I've already cut a few of these ahead of time, so you're just gonna cut the little tips off the dry stem. Just use a knife and cut the stem, put that aside. And we're going to then cut them in half the long way and season them and then put them in the oven. And that is it. It is a super easy recipe, but it's super packed with lots of health benefits. So as you probably know, they are packed with vitamin C and lots of other minerals and nutrients that are very important. But one of the things I like about Brussels sprouts is the amount of green that they have in them. So green foods, leafy greens, or just about anything that's got green in it, means that it has chlorophyll. And that chlorophyll, that green part of the chlorophyll, is actually super good for clearing the blood, nourishing the liver. And so we should have a lot of dark green vegetables in our diet to keep the blood healthy, keep the liver pure and detox, and give us a lot of the vitamin C that we need to help us nourish also with the vitamin Bs. And then on top of all of that, you get all of the great benefits. Fiber. So Brussels sprouts are a really great way to get a super power-packed dose of awesomeness and health in a small little bud. So we're going to cut them in half the long way so that you can see the trees, or the brains inside. Some people call them brains. It's kind of cute. Brussels sprouts. These are actually pretty big Brussels sprouts. Got them at the Asian store, where I've slowly started spending more of my grocery time than anywhere else, because at least the one here close to the house is actually really good. I'm really surprised. It's got great produce. It looks good. They keep it fresh. Right now, we know that supply chain is a little bit compromised in our grocery stores. And so, it's just a situation we're all going through at the moment where we're having to make some compromise. But I've found that my Asian grocery store, H Mart, is actually kind of on top of things. And while some of the things that I normally get probably are a little bit low, I can still find really great produce. And so I appreciate that. All right, cool. And that's it. That's what we do in terms of that part of the prep. Let me move this out of the way and create a little bit of space. And all we're going to do is we're going to take some of this balsamic vinegar. So as you may know or remember, I lived in Italy for a while. And so I like good quality balsamic. This is good quality without breaking the bank. And I'm just going to coat the Brussels sprouts. I could probably put another little tiny bit in here, like that. What we're going to do is we're going to try to make sure that everything gets nicely coated in the vinegar. Season with a little bit of salt. The salt is going to give it flavor, but it's also going to help to soften the leaves. A little bit of pepper. This is just black pepper. Nothing fancy. A little bit of that. And then I was going to put this oil, but I think I'm going to do it differently. Change my mind in the middle of the recipe. I'm just going to do a traditional olive oil and keep the flavor simple and clear. Just enough to coat the Brussels sprouts. And so now my hands are clean. You're simply going to run into your Brussels sprouts and mix them all up so they get covered with a nice blend of the vinegar and the olive oil and the salt and the pepper. Super easy. You don't have to have any complicated. You don't have to go shopping anywhere special. You know, balsamic vinegar is available everywhere. Oops, we got an escape leaf. And when everything has been nicely coated and you think it looks pretty even, check your insides. Make sure these have some goodness on them. Once that's done, simply transfer this whole thing to the pan that you're going to cook them in. Set that down. Now, the trick here is you want to make sure that they have space. So even though, you know, they're picked and they're going to get cooked, in cooking world, they need to have room to breathe. The steam and the cooking of the Brussels sprouts needs to have a place to go to. So you want to make sure that they have room to move around so you can move them as you're cooking them. If when you put them in the pan, you find that they're still a little bit dry, go ahead and put some more vinegar and some more oil on them and it should be just fine. So the next thing we're going to do is simply put that in the oven at 400 degrees for about 20 to 30 minutes until they start to get a little bit dry and a little bit crunchy. We'll up the temperature for about the last 10 minutes at 425 so that they get a little bit crunchy and crispy, and then they're ready to serve. So I've already got my oven going at 400. I'm going to put them in there and I'll come back and I'll show you what they look like when they're done. So our Brussels sprouts are now out of the oven. They were cooked at 400 degrees for about 20 minutes and then flash cooked at 425 until they became a little crispy. And so let me put them on the plate so you can see. You can hear the crunch, crunch, crunch. And the dark color is not because they're burned. It actually is the balsamic vinegar that has made them turn a little bit dark. But you can see that they are totally cooked. They have a little bit of crunch in some places. And the balsamic actually gives a great flavor. Oh, sorry. So I'm chewing on some Brussels sprout leaves that are very, you can hear the crunch. Crunchy and tasty. So here's your roasted Brussels sprouts and balsamic vinegar, salt and pepper. Pretty much that's it. 30 minutes total in the oven. Easy to do and it won't stink up your kitchen. Enjoy your Brussels sprouts. Stay healthy. See you next time.